This is the Pullman Mansion, named because the guy that made the Pullman railroad car lived there. And this, in later years, became, can't think of the man's name to live there. But anyhow, when it was sold, winter day, we had a big storm, and the building caught fire. And we got up there and we fought the fire, and we thought we were gaining. I was a fireman at the time, so it would, I think, be in the 60s. And we took all the appliances out of the kitchen. We hadn't gone there because the fire was mostly on the other side of the building. Well, the fire kept getting more and more intense, and Reuben Thompson and myself took a 2-inch fire hose, and we were fighting the fire, and we kept going in, and if we put the hose up in the air, we could get the fire to go down. If we put the hose down, the fire got bigger. And for the longest time, we kept squirting this water, and we could not figure out why we were putting this fire out. Well, we found out hours later, there was a baby grand piano in the living room that the floor had burned away. In the end, the thing was standing up on edge. And as it was standing up on edge, if we squirted the water straight in, we hit the piano and the water would fly. So we never got to where the fire was. But if we went up high, the water would bounce and come down there. And it took me till the fire was out to find out why we couldn't put the fire out there. But also, they almost lost a fire truck because there was a fire truck in front of the building. And the wind was so great that the wind was blowing, fire was blowing straight out. And they had to move in fact, I think the story was that they actually cut one of the hoses so that they could move the fire truck fast enough to get out from there. And a bunch of us firemen had to spend the night in the firehouse and slept there to be sure that it was out. And they went back and made sure that everything out, because there was a lot of big building around it. But very interesting about that. But apparently he was quite a member of the town for a period of time.
Where was that building located?
What?
Where was the house located?
Where the development is on top of the hill as you come up. God, my memory's going crazy. If you go by the Main Street and you turn and go up to the top of the hill, Grove Street, and it was on top of that, the very, very top. And then that development that's all there, that was all his estate. I can't think of it. I know his name as good as that. Big, tall man. Was a principal for Madison High School, owned the farm, bought the house. Harvey Gearin bought the house, and it was while he was there that it burned down. And the funny part of it is, there was a little apartment that was in this building that the people lived there, and the year that it burned down, which I could find out if I went through my own family history, my mother and father were in Mexico vacationing, and we had an apartment in a building that I had on Main Street, and the people had moved out, and I said to the people that were living there, if you want a place to live, you can live in our apartment. So they lived in the apartment and then they finally decided to stay there, and they stayed there for 3 or 4 years before they moved on. But anyhow, that's the story of Pullman